This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's a very, very misty morning out here. Who knows what we'll find? This is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
Five, four, three, two, one. You are live, you are live.
Good morning everybody and welcome to another sunrise safari. Well, I don't know if we're going to be seeing much of a sunrise this morning. My name is Taylor and on camera with me today is Craig, aka Batman, and it's quite difficult to see him in all the fog that we have out here today. But it's great to have you all joining us on, well, the largest safari vehicle in the world, and it's live and interactive. This is happening right now in the Sabi Sandwiltuin, or in the Great Kruger National Park in South Africa. And if you want to ask us any questions, you are more than welcome to do so. You can just hashtag Safari Live. Now, we're not going particularly quickly, because I think if we do go quickly, we're going to miss lots of things. So I want to make sure that these are not lion tracks. No, these are hyena, lots and lots of hyena activity going up and down. Now, it's almost impossible to see 20 meters off of the road, which is going to be it's going to prove to be quite difficult in terms of finding animals, and so it's going to be quite fun. So we'll just take it really easy. I know that Rexon is also out, and obviously Ali and Gert are on the other car. Herbie's also on the car with them in case we pick up on some tracks. Then he'll jump off and help us with the whole tracking process. So they've picked up lion tracks already. It sounds like they were on Vuyatela axis and the tracks are going south. So we're very slowly going to drive towards Philemon's cut line and go down towards the brown ivory tree back towards Gary Main and see if we can get anything coming this side. And if we don't, then they've either crossed further south, a little bit further to the west, or they're somewhere on the property. So we could potentially have some cats this morning. I'm also going to head back down and towards the Twin Dams, because that is where the leopards seem to be, not on our property but just in Little Gowrie. Thandi and Tamba were there, as well as Hosana. Shongile also apparently crossed in, but they didn't find her yesterday, so she could be somewhere else. So that's, well, what we're going to try and do this morning. Maybe a little bit later we'll pop past the hyena den, but it's going to take quite some time for this fog to sort of burn away. My goodness, I'm damp now. It's amazing how much moisture is actually in this air. It's crazy. Like I said, we're just gonna go slowly. Oh my goodness, there's actually moisture dripping off of the camera now. So if we do need to wipe the lens every now and then, don't get a fright. When Craig does bring a cloth across the screen, you just need to make sure that we can give you the greatest picture. So I'm going to keep my eyes glued to the ground to see if I can find tracks. That's going to be the only thing I can see so far this morning. And let's go across to Ali so she can give you an update on the lion tracks.
Well, this is the weather that we're dealing with this morning. So far we are still looking for the lion tracks. We haven't been able to find them just yet, but we are on our way to the area where they were last seen, or roughly the direction where they were spotted going into. My name is Ali, and on camera with me is Gert. We've got a very special person on the vehicle with us, which is Herbie. That's going to help us look for the lions this morning. I think, Herbie, you just wanted to go for a walk in this weather, didn't you? Yeah. I think he said yes. This is a live and interactive show, so if you've got any questions or any comments, feel free to send them through using the hashtag SafariLive. Now, we're going to carry on through this road and see if perhaps we can pick up on some lion tracks, because they were roughly doing this sort of movement, and we know that they've liked walking on this road the past few days, so hopefully we'll be able to pick them up. Ooh, how's that? I even jump started. Oh yes, it would be so amazing to see lions on this mist just walking around. I think that would be first prize. I know we've been wishing for it the last few days, that we've had this wonderful, I think it could even classify as fog now, because I cannot really see all that far away from us. Maybe it's not dense enough, but it's getting there. Now let's see if we can pick up on any tracks. Janine, you're wondering if this mist is good hunting weather for the cats. Well, it can be, because it mutes everything out in the background. However, it also makes it perhaps a little bit more difficult for them to be able to spot prey. So I would think overall would be good weather. Lions and leopards are very well known for taking advantage of the weather and to be able to successfully hunt. And I mean, all they have to do is walk very quietly and use the bushes to hide from all the impalas around. Now, let's see here. Where did Rex say these tracks were going, Herbie? Should we carry on here, or should we go this way? Straight. Okay, straight. Alright, sorry, I just didn't hear what Rexon said. There we go. Yeah. No, this is an old one. Alright. Alright, seems like we might be on the right track. Let's check. I love it. It's like playing a game of hide and seek with the lions. And if we find them, we win like 1,000,000 points. So you can't even see the horizon. Nothing. This is wonderful. I love it. Carol, you're wondering if there's a different smell in the air with all this fog. Well, there is. It's a lot, there's a very moisty smell. It's almost like water, like everything's wet and damp. That's pretty much the way it all smells. Ooh. And it's very hazy. It's almost like you feel like you need to start cleaning your eyes because you can't see properly, but it's not your eyes, it's actually just the weather. Alrighty, lions, where art thou? Michael, you're wondering if the lions are most likely to be on the move due to the weather. Very likely, yes. I would assume that they are moving around because it's very cool weather, and I was hoping that they would perhaps roar or make a noise. That would make it even better. There have been reports apparently of one of the Birmingham males found on Hoffman's this morning, but I don't know if it's... I know there was one of them run about there already yesterday, so I don't know if it's the same one or maybe it's another one that's moved and carried on walking. I'm hoping it's not going to be the one whose tracks we had. Tough to see here. Oh, I almost feel like this is winter. Like in Europe, I mean, when we're gonna start getting some snow. Thought I saw something. Maybe not. So yes, and then seems like Taylor has managed to find an animal in this misty weather, so let's go over to her and find out who's up and about.
It's the first mammal of the morning, well, for us, and it is a rather large wildebeest bull that had taken up a sleeping spot here last night. right off of Philemon's cut line. And it seems as though he's not alone. He's got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 oxpeckers on his back too. Now, I think that they have found him, and they're probably quite happy that they found this wildebeest bull this morning, because it's not too cold, but it's a little bit chilly. And by sitting on him like that, they'll be able to keep nice and warm. So they'll just be using his body heat to warm themselves up. They don't seem to be feeding much at all. They're actually just doing quite a bit of calling at the moment. Isn't that very pretty though? The mist, the wildebeest, beautiful pattern. Now, he might just hang around here for a little bit. I don't think it's a good idea to keep moving on a day like today when the mist is very, well, not, I don't actually think it's mist, it's more fog than anything. When the fog is so thick like this, you can barely see anything behind him. So the spot that he's got is actually quite good. It's fairly open, and on the road the fog is not as thick as what it is down in the vegetation. So he might just rest here. Maybe he'll sit back down again. He was sitting on just a little sandy patch, and then he might continue with his day. But no ladies, no wildebeest girls around him today. Has he chosen the right spot, or did he make a mistake, or wasn't he fit and strong enough to challenge some of the other contenders in the area that have got better spots? I wonder if his territory extends towards Chele Pan, because otherwise he's quite stuck. He doesn't really have any water around here. The closest water could either be Chele Pan or Treehouse Dam, where Tella Dam is actually quite far away from here. We know that there is another big wildebeest that hangs around that area, so that's already occupied. So he actually doesn't have a very good spot, unless somewhere in the drainage line there is a little bit of water that he could be drinking from too. That's a possibility. Oh, now this is a question from Sammy, and it is, can some of the animals survive just off of the moisture on the leaves rather than having to go and drink? Most certainly, and we actually see that quite a bit. A lot of the animals actually get quite a large amount of water from plants. If you look at kudu, for example, they don't have to necessarily drink every single day like an impala or a zebra or a waterbuck have to do. They've got to drink all the time, or even buffalo. So they can actually go, or steenbok, for example, deka. A lot of the bulbs that they do eat down on the ground, and a lot of the leaves that they're feeding on does have a bit of moisture. And you're quite correct, on a day like today when there is a lot of fog, and I was pointing out how there's moisture everywhere. This is completely wet. Our wildebeest. If you even look on the hood of the car, if I can draw a picture for you. I know you can't see it, but anyway, it's very wet. You'll just have to take my word for it. So yes, they can indeed. Chameleons, for example, chameleons don't normally drink out of puddles. They actually will lap up dew off bits of grass and bits of leaves. So most certainly. But look where our wildebeest is. I think he's actually going to sit back down. This is the exact sandy patch that he'd been lying on all night. I wonder if he uses this spot as his sleeping spot on a regular basis. But I can't recall, seeing him here every single day. But he's in lovely condition. Look how big his neck is. He's so fit. Very powerful shoulders, just having a bit of a scratch. Something must be annoying him inside his ear. You need those oxpeckers to go in there, my friend. They'll do a much better job than your hoofs could ever do. Having a good scratch and a bit of a shake. Hopefully, as he scratched, hoping to dislodge whatever parasite was biting him, and then a shake to get rid of it. But he's beautiful, isn't he? Let's continue up a little bit further. I think we're going to go and check. I wanted to go to the brown ivory, but I'm not sure if Ali's maybe coming this way. So I thought maybe we'll go towards Twin Dams. But not Twin Dams, Treehouse Dam. Bye, wildebeest. Be safe. He was very obliging. He didn't run away. He didn't look like he wanted to go anywhere, in fact. So that was quite nice. Let's see what we've got up ahead, and then we'll make our decision. There's a couple of antelope here and there scattered, impala, scattered around. It's just so difficult to see them because it is so misty. You know what? I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to go to Treehouse Dam. Now, Remy, you're wondering if I'm ever scared out here with all of this mist. Nah. If I was... No, I didn't have brakes, so it's always quite hard. Sorry. So I'll have brakes this afternoon. It's quite difficult... not quite difficult. What am I trying to say today? Goodness gracious. I'd be very scared. Those are the words I wanted to use if I was walking. I'd be nervous because you couldn't see anything, so you'd really have to rely on your hearing, and we know our hearing is nowhere near as good as the animals, so you can miss things so easily. Oh, look who's on the road. Please stop, don't go off the road. There's a little crested francolin. Hello, where's your friends? Giving us a bit of a ruffle with its feathers too. Oh, there's a whole family of them. They're just further to the right. You can actually just see them just in the grass. If you keep panning just to the right, there we go. They're coming out this way. So they've also been resting for the night. They would have taken up residence in maybe a tree, maybe underneath a shrub. Now they've come back down to the ground, and they'll peck around in the grass looking for all sorts of delicious treats. And it seems as though they're quite lucky there, but you can't really see too much. You can just see the occasional grass moving here and there. There weren't too many of them. It's not the biggest flock of crested francolins I've seen. It looks like it's maybe just those 3, in fact. Maybe mom, dad, and a juvenile. It looks like that one on the right is keeping an eye out. You see it poke its head up every now and then, but let's continue. Seeing lots of little things this morning. It's quite nice, actually. Hi, guys. Oh, there were 4. There were 2 little ones. Right. So we're going to head towards Treehouse Dam now, and hopefully we're going to find something waiting there for us. So I'm going to send you back across to Ali now. It seems as though Herbie's doing a bit of tracking. I wonder if he's going to find those big cats.
Well, we have managed to find the lion tracks. Yay for one male that's been busy scent marking. But it seems like he's gone a little bit more to the west. So we are checking now the new road for any possible new tracks that might indicate as to where they are going, or where this particular male was going. So finger crossed, we'll be able to pick some more tracks, and hopefully he won't carry on going west, because we don't want them to go that way, because then that means that we can't see them because they cross into another property. Now, I think this has been a good and lucky road, this new road. So let's hope that its good luck streak carries on. It seems like not too many tracks just yet, but I think we spotted them coming from that side, not too far from where we are now. So hopefully we'll be able to pick something up on this road. Slowly but surely. And it seems like we were talking a bit earlier if the lions are quite active during this weather. Well, it seems like it was moving sometime last night, but busy patrolling and scent marking his territory. So it's interesting to note that even when we don't see them and we think that they've just come and go, they're always active protecting their territory. So what this male has done just by coming and marking is a good reminder to any other possible intruder in this area that this territory has been claimed for. Now, like I was saying yesterday, it seems like the Talamati pride was reported to be on not on Cheetah Plains. Sorry, I thought I had seen a lion toe. And it'll be interesting to see what happens next with all these prides of lions moving around here. Perhaps something, perhaps absolutely nothing. Maybe they're just busy exploring a new area, or an area that they haven't been in for quite a while. Now, let's see. Not so many tracks just yet. I am absolutely loving this morning's weather. I think it's very mysterious, like, you know, very mystical. John, you're wondering what my favorite weather to guide in is. I love the winter time. Maybe not as the sun starts coming out, because then that is a bit too cold, but I love winter mornings and winter afternoons. I love them. So I think that's my favorite one. I just feel the weather is much better, much more pleasant in general terms for everyone. There's like a tire track. So yes, winter time for me. So I am really enjoying this mornings and this afternoons, especially when it's like this, when you get a surprising morning that you can't even see. I find it wonderful. Nothing just yet, huh? Now, it's becoming a bit tricky with these lions. Hopefully you will not have crossed, lion. Now we are reaching the point of Shadow and the Cubs Mount, which is right next to the road. And they seem to like it quite a bit. I was hoping we were going to see some tracks here, because all of the moisture in the air has put like a very nice dewy layer on top of the sand. So if animals had walked here in the last hour or so, it would be so good to see it, because you would perfectly see the marking of just where they've stepped and broken that little moisture all around on the top layer of the soil, and then it becomes so beautiful. Now, no tracks as of yet, but there's another road that I want to try, where perhaps we'll be able to pick something up. And yes, it might be a bit tricky, because they are very likely moving and up and about, patrolling or trying to find all of the other coalition and pride members. So they can sometimes in this weather just move until very late in the morning, perhaps sometimes even 8, 9 in the morning, and then they'll be exhausted and sleep for the rest of the day. Michael, you're wondering if the moisture in the air will cause the scent marking not to last as long. Very likely it'll have some sort of negative effect on it, because the scents will get washed away by the moisture and the water droplets that are out and about. But I'm sure these guys will start scent marking once more. It is a very pungent smell that can last for quite a while. I feel like we're gonna find this lion walking. Alright. Lions in the mist. It's a tricky one. Alright, seems like Taylor has found some lion tracks crossing into another property, but I think maybe that's the other update that we had earlier on for that one male that went back down there. So who knows, we'll try to piece the puzzle together. Hopefully there'll be another male lion somewhere on the property that we can have a look at. If not, then we already know where one of the Birmingham's boys is, because it's becoming very complicated with them. And it's interesting just to know that the coalition members, they don't also spend all their time together. They must just split their time in between the different prides that are under their control, under their territory. Because I know there's one that's been hanging around quite a lot with the sticks, one that's been staying around Little Gowrie, and one that seems to be accompanying the Torchwoods. And I wonder if the one with the Torchwoods isn't the lucky one, because he was seen mating yesterday with one of the females. So maybe it's just being a little bit sneaky and enjoying some private time with one of the lionesses. So yes, one of the Birminghams has been accounted for. Now let's look for the other 3. See where they are. No tracks here. I thought this was gonna be such a good road for tracks, Herbie. I think we were wrong.
Where what did Taylor?
She said that she had tracks for one male coming down Weaver's Nest over Gowrie, Main, going to Little Gowrie.
I think this one went that way.
I don't think so.
Let's check the back.
Yeah, I don't think so, because this one's coming from there, unless it did a big loop around and then went back. And I know that there was one on Little Gowrie yesterday as well. We refuse to give up. We shall carry on trying. There are more tracks. It seems, however, that our misty lion morning is coming to an end.
Yeah. But still cloudy.
Yeah, still cloudy. Sorry, Megan, what was the questions from James? James, you're wondering if the mist distorts the tracks at all. Well, it doesn't really distort them in the way that it will destroy them, but it adds a bit of, imagine like a cake, and then you get some glossy icing on top of it. That's sort of what they look like if it's very moist and then an animal steps on it. Then you'll know that those are really fresh, or if they're really old and you see this misty, glossy layer onto it. What do you say, Herbie, this side? I agree with you. Alright, let's give it one more try. So the mist will not break the track. Sometimes what it does, it'll just make it a little bit harder in certain soil types for you to pick up on the tracks. But other than that, I actually find it easier to determine how old the tracks are when there's a misty morning, because then you will either have somebody that stepped on top of the wet weather, and then you'll know that it's closer to you than and it's been walking a little bit later into the night or earlier into the morning, rather than when you have something where the tracks have already been covered by the dew. Now, if we find one, I'll show it to you definitely, but we haven't been able to find any tracks that look in this particular way. Alright, guys. I wonder if this is not perhaps that one that's been going onto that drainage and then just kind of stays in that drainage line. Seems like Taylor has arrived to Twin Dams, so let's go over to her and find out if there are any creatures lurking about.
Unfortunately not. It is very quiet at this dam. I don't even see any birds around, and there's definitely no ripples in the water from the hippopotamus, but there's this horrible blue-green algae now, which is not that nice, and I can't imagine that it's very appealing to the animals. I know that the elephants would come here. I don't think that they would drink from here. I think they'd rather turn their noses up to it and head back towards the Mulwati, and that's what we're going to do now too. There's not much here, and before we waste too much time staring into dirty water, let's carry on with our boundary patrol. So we obviously had that male lion's tracks crossing, so I was just reversing quickly, crossing out, which is a little bit sad. Oh, I don't have brakes, stop! There we go. I was nearing the edge of a drainage line. I thought, wow, we better put it into first gear very quickly before we go over. So yeah, so that's quite sad. So not far from here, crossing into Little Gari, but we'll keep checking just carefully. I haven't seen any leopard tracks either. That's why we're going to head up slightly further. Hang on, oh wait, now I've got to go back because I saw tracks, but please stop. But to go into reverse is also a nightmare. Okay, let's go back here. I just want to check what these were. Nina. And then Ellie's footprints from yesterday. And she was walking around here looking at tracks. Okay, let's go through the Mulwati. Just give a nice good scan around this particular area. This used to be known leopard territory. Remember at one point we were guaranteed leopard sightings every time we came to Twin Dams when we scanned around Baboon Pan. Some arrow-marked babblers. Let's see if we can get a view of them. Where have they decided to sit though? I can hear them. Ah, and I can hear a grey-headed bushshrike again. Let me see if I can spot it. It's in this leadwood by the sounds of it. Oh, there it jumps. Do you see the movement up top there? Right up top. There's a grey-headed bushshrike jumping around. It was just doing a territorial call. There he goes. Craig over here. There it is. There we go. Look at it. We go straight in, just to the right. You can see those leaves moving now. It's bouncing about over there. It's in a leadwood tree. Can't see it just yet. Where are you going to sit? It's bouncing about quite a bit, which is making it, of course, very, very difficult. It's just flowing down and to the right, Craigie. There you can see the leaves moving to the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That's where the last spot was. Let me see if I can spot it with my eyes. No. Hang on. We're going to get a view now. Did you see where it landed? In this dead knobthorn. Just to the, yeah, up in there. That's where it was, and that should be a bit easier for us to spot. Okay, go straight in. Go straight in the middle of your screen. There we go. Up a little bit. Sit still. There it is, top right corner. Can you see how beautiful it is? Oh, wow. Finally. Now, not the easiest birds to put on screen. Normally when you're up close to them, they'll fly away from you, so it's always better to view them from a distance. But of course, this then makes it more tricky to try and spot as they bounce about in the trees. But this is a lot easier. And now that there aren't so many leaves on this knobthorn, it has lost its leaves. Where did you go now? There it is. Flowing straight into the middle of your screen. That's beautiful. But it's on a mission this morning. It's singing quite a fair amount with the other birds. And I love that call. It's not doing its typical call like it normally does. It's making that quack, quack, and off it goes, which is the territorial call. I'll never forget the first time I heard that, I was convinced that there were frogs or toads or something calling in the water. It was in the Eastern Cape when I first experienced those birds. Basically, I was staring down at the water, looking, and someone said, when I was very young, someone said, it's actually a bird. Look up in the trees, and then there this beautiful bird was. Lovely. Secret birds of the bush. Anyways, we're going to go across now to Ali. She's decided to take a break from tracking lions, and she's having her coffee.
Long coffee it has been. I still haven't finished it. I think I need to make up for what I couldn't drink tomorrow. So very happy that Connor managed to buy all of the coffee in Hoedspruit for us yesterday, and now there's no more shortage, because I think we all would have suffered as a team. Because make no mistake, Taylor also shared the coffee with me this morning. She was very happy to have it, as well as Megan and Alice. Right, seems like the lion's new fashion is to grow wings and disappear. We want to check one more road to try and find out if maybe this lion that was found south of us is the same lion that's been walking around here. If it has, then it's been walking in quite a funny, erratic way. But lions have been quite surprising lately, so it could be that it was this particular one. We are slowly starting to lose our mist, which I'm really sad about, because it's been so beautiful driving around like this. But let's have a bit of a look and see. Perhaps even now it might be easier to see them walking out in the road. And you're wondering if we've ever had to cancel a safari due to poor visibility. Well, I've had an occasion that's happened, but it hasn't happened because of the mist or during the winter time. I've had it in the summertime when the rain is so thick that you just drive out and there's so much rain hitting your eyes, and you're driving trying to see everything. Your lights are on and you can't see anything. So that's the only time that I haven't gone out on safari, because it was pretty pointless driving around in such crazy rain. I mean, we wouldn't have seen anything. So that's been the only time. I think rain, sometimes it's actually what gets in the way. I think this mist, had it been slightly thicker, then maybe we would have just taken a bit of a longer time to try and find out, or to start moving around or seeing creatures or find any tracks, because if it's very, very thick, you can't really even see anything in front of you. But I've never had or heard of a safari cancelled due to mist or fog in that case. But it seems like the sun is starting to come out, and I'm feeling really sorry for once, because I'm all for the sun warming us up, but today it's just been so wonderful. Right, no lions have been sleeping here. Herbie, I'm actually happy that you agree with me that this thing maybe has grown wings, because I've gone tracking lions so many times and I'm like, but where have they gone to? So it makes me feel a little bit better. Oh, a lonely wildebeest. Hello. I think this is the guy perhaps that Taylor had a little bit earlier on, so we're not going to disturb him too much and we're just going to carry on. Oh no, sorry, you can go back to sleep. Bye-bye. We're looking for who's going to eat you. Alright. Come on, lions. I think we're gonna have a very hot day today by the looks of it. It seems like the clouds are gonna start moving away. Hopefully that'll bring a lot of elephants. That would be wonderful to see lots of ellies this afternoon. I haven't been able to see them in the last few days, so I'm really hoping that they'll be around. Especially such big herds like the one Taylor had yesterday, when there's like about maybe 20 or 30 of them. Absolutely love it. Alright, lion, walk on this road. Maybe you're wondering how we're so fearless and wandering around alone looking for lions. Well, I'm not too sure. We enjoy the work that we do, and to be able to find some of these creatures and enjoy the time with them, then we've got to look for them. Now, the vehicle is perfectly safe. I've actually never had a problem with a lion in a vehicle, maybe just once with some lions from the Kruger that were a bit skittish with the vehicles. But like I said, the vehicle is home. It's a safe place. Lions normally just ignore it, so it's not too bad. And then when you go out walking and looking for them on foot, then you've got to go through some extensive training to be able to do that. Now, when I first started walking, I was terrified. I thought that every time I stepped a foot out of a vehicle, all of the animals could smell me, and especially the buffalo, and they were going to come and kill me. But then, after a while, you realize that that's quite not the case, and that they don't really care about you. They just carry on with their lives. So there are ways of approaching them and ways of doing things, and obviously keeping your head up. I think that's probably the challenge, hey Herbie, when you go tracking, because your head is just on the ground looking for tracks. So you've got to remember to look around you and then carry on. But it is fun. It's like a lot of adrenaline, and it's something that if it's done well, then it's a safe exercise to do. Now, also lions around this area, they are used to being found on foot by people, probably since they were cubs. So they just learn very quickly that we see them from a distance, even if they notice that we are there, because half of the times they don't even know that we've spotted them. And then they carry on sleeping, doing whatever it is. We go back to our vehicles and then we come and view them. But it's all depending on how habituated they are. I was in a private safari recently in Zimbabwe, and there's one park there called Mana Pools. It's very well known because people pretty much walk everywhere. And the very first sighting that we had, we saw some vultures out in the distance. We all got out of the vehicle, obviously with one of the local guides that had a rifle just in case. And then we approached this pride of lions eating an impala. And we were about maybe 10 meters away from them, and the lions, it's not like they would have let us approach them or get a little more closer than that, but they're so used to having people finding them on foot and viewing them on foot that they're just like, humans again, whatever. So sometimes perhaps in areas where animals are not used to being found, not used to vehicles, not used to people, and that's where the tricky part begins. That was a song of a grey hornbill. Beep. No. Alright. Okay, lions, come back. Maybe I don't know what this lion has done. Mario, you're wondering how we train ourselves to recognize animal behavior. Well, there are a lot of books that have been written about animal behavior. That is a good way of doing so. And we are constantly learning, even us. There are certain things sometimes that animals do that we don't know, so you go and research it. So that is a good way of doing it. But also just spending as much time out as possible. Spending time out looking for creatures and see what they do and spending time with them. That enhances your knowledge of what they're doing and why they're doing certain things. And I must say, one of the amazing things about the job here at Safari Live is that we get to spend so much more time with animals that you would normally do at a lodge, that you just learn all this much variety or array of behavior, different things, different characteristics that might spike your curiosity, and then you start learning a bit more and more and more about certain things. I went through a recent phase where all I wanted to do was learn about animal diseases. So you learn everything. Hello, Herbie.
Hello.
Let's show Herbie there.
Check triple M.
Yes.
Impala planes and bacon zone. I'll pull up.
Okay. All right. Then I'll see you in a little bit. All right. Cool. Thanks, Herbie. Do you want your bag, or are you going without? Okay. Cool. Bye, bye, Herbie. All right. I think Herbie is a bit more stubborn than me. I will give you that. And he's now determined that we've got to find where this lion went off to. So I'm going to check around just in case this lion hasn't crossed onto our Arethusa or anything else while he checks on the inside. And we are very close by, and he's got a radio for safety. So if he needs me or if he finds the lions, then he will very quickly get hold of us on the radio. So, off brave Herbie goes. Ah, what is that big bird up there? Let's see what you are. Oh, it's a hawk eagle. An African hawk eagle looking very wet and unhappy with life. Hello. Oh, this is so funny. So, sorry guys, I'm just listening to an update on the radio about alright, okay. Reg, sorry, can you just go again with those Nkonzo that you had? Is it the same one on Buffelshoek, the one that you had the tracks on Vuyetsela axis? Okay, copy, thanks. Alright, now this beautiful eagle that we're looking at, this is the African hawk eagle. They're normally found in pairs, so I wonder if maybe its pair is somewhere around here and they mate for life. So it's strange that you are all on your own. Where is your family? Perhaps these are the ones that we see that have got the nest. It's not too well, it is pretty much on the other end of the property, but what is that when you can fly? Now it's looking very wet and dry, so I'm sure the mist got hold of all of them. Standing by. Okay, copy, because we also picked up on some more tracks around Zoe's heading north, so I wonder if maybe that's the same one. Okay, copy. Alright, so it seems like the lion tracks that Rex originally had called in this morning, they have gone all the way into Buffelshoek. So we pretty much, Rex had them here and we've been checking around here. So those tracks go like this and then go back onto Buffelshoek. So that's one lion gone. Then, male lion at least. Then Taylor had tracks for another one that go pretty much like this all the way onto Little Gowrie. And then we are following up on these other ones because we're not 100% sure if that one does come out onto the same road where Rex had the track. So there is a possibility of that, but I'm still gonna go stick to our plan and see if we can find any more tracks around here. Perhaps Herbie will find them, and we shall keep you all posted. These lion mysteries that frustrating as it can be sometimes, it is a wonderful thing to do. Alright, let's carry on down this road. Let's not let Herbie down and find out what it is that there is all around. And hopefully there will be one lion that didn't cross out. Alright, so let's check here on the fire break. I wonder. So the guys are going to let us know if it's the same male that crossed and then moved around. Because sometimes what will happen is you'll have multiple male lions walking through the night, contact calling and looking for each other and scent marking. And sometimes they bump into each other. Sometimes they actively look for one another, the coalition members in this case. And they don't have to go together all the time. So maybe once, you know... Leopard! Woo! So exciting! Is it Shadow? You see it there. Alright, let's go in. Rex for Ali Rex. Ooh. Alright. Oh, exciting! Now, who are you? Does look like Shadow to me, but we'll be able to find out and confirm. So I don't know any of Shadow's identifying features, to be honest. Well, you're not maybe... Who are you? Now I'm confused. I want to start calling out names. Yeah, must be Shadow. Perhaps the cub is somewhere around here. That is a very good contact call that it was doing. Maybe the little one is here. Oh, exciting times. I think my heart is still pounding. Leo, Tony, you're saying that was a good spot. I think my heart definitely stopped, because it's amazing when you're not looking for them. Here they are, looking at all of us, and I wonder if maybe the cub is somewhere in those thickets over there, because she keeps gazing that way. But no views for now. But oh my goodness, yay! So excited. And it's pretty much in the same area that we had her last time. So I think this is the new area that she's been enjoying all the way up to the termite mounds. I am a bit terrified if she does drag me through this drainage again. Just because last time we lost our brakes. But we had such an amazing sighting of her and the cub going up and down. You look very regal. Ah, there's a cub. There, it's coming. It's just gonna come next to Mum. Herb, you say spots for Feline Friday. Yes, indeed. Oh, hello, little one. So excited. Let me... Oh, you're so beautiful and you've got such a full belly. Oh, my God. That is a precious moment right there between mother and cub. Ah, that's beautiful. The two of them playing together. Naughty cub, you just came around and got your mom all hyped up and then you're walking away. Huh. I think somebody's got a bit of a grown-up attitude. Ah, very beautiful. Glad to see that you've had something to eat. Look at that tummy. You're being a little fatty, aren't you? Been enjoying some good food. Oh, this is a stunning cub, looking very healthy. Rex for Ali Rex. Rex, I know you were looking for Ingwe. I've got Shadow and Mantuan on just south of the fire break, just north of the fire break, close to Gari Main Triple M Junction. Okay, copy. Seems like Shadow has also... Oh! Shadow's also got a very full belly. Oh, girl, so this is what you've been doing. You've been eating. Well done, the two of you. Very precious moment in between the two of them. Now I am gonna move so that we get that guari bush off her face. I thought maybe she was gonna carry on, but it doesn't seem that way. Alright, a bit of a tricky spot here. There we go. Standing by. Mafazi, Ingwe and Mantuan are very close to Gariman Triple M Junction, just slightly north of the fire break. I think it's still, we're keeping 2 vehicles because it's still a bit young, but you can start making your way, and then if not, I'll come back a little bit later. Okay, that's perfect. Just let me know once you're close by and then I'll pull out for you. Alright, so it is a very, obviously a lot of people want to come and see them, but we've got quite a little while to enjoy with this precious too. Oh. Natalie, you're wondering at what age the cubs completely leave their family. Well, it's more like the mother gets tired of them and just forces them into leaving them. But anything between 1.5 years, 2 years time, or 2 years of age, not 2 years time. So we think that this cub is about 6 months old, so it's got at least another year with mom. Just enjoying the presence of this little one so much. Now, the cub is still way too young, and I'm pretty sure that it's already started, or all of these instincts for stalking and trying to hunt little things are coming in. We have seen this little one looking at birds in a very curious way. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's already made a few catches on its own, or at least it's trying, but it definitely cannot sustain itself. So it still depends on its mother to bring kills, or to come and get it and bring it to the kills so that they can... so that it can easily eat. And I think they've had whatever it was a good meal. I think maybe there was even an impala perhaps, because both of them are looking very, very full. And guys, did you're wondering how often do leopards hunt? Well, as often as their bellies go empty. Now, both of them look quite full, so I think maybe perhaps for a day or two they will be alright, and they don't have to go hunting. But if there's an opportunity that presents itself, likely they're gonna try and get to it and start approaching or stalking their potential prey species. But what leopards do in general is, if they manage to bring down something bigger, then they'll gorge themselves on it, and they'll pretty much eat as much as they can, so that'll allow them a little bit more time before they have to go hunting again. They don't have to, or they can survive not eating every day. Beautiful. Still calling. And look at that. Perfect setting, and that camouflage, that orangey color, making her blend very well into all of the environment. And how nice of them to be out in the open. Machine gun nest, you're wondering if leopard cubs can climb up trees for safety. Yes, they do. When they're little, they already start trying their luck at climbing little trees, and more often than not, they in the first few months of their lives, they learn that safety is up in the tree, because pretty much nothing, or the predators that would be after them, cannot really get them on trees, except of course for perhaps other leopards. But I've seen cubs that as soon as a hyena comes around or something they don't like, sometimes I've seen it with buffalo walking around, they just go up a tree very quickly to try and hide from their predators. Well, that's a very furious bath. I think maybe this cub has been told off as in like, you're not clean enough. That was very decisive of her all of a sudden. Bath time for the little one. Michelle, you're wondering if it's at a high risk of not making it into adulthood. Well, in most areas it's believed that leopard cubs have about 60-70% survival rate of making it to adulthood, so we shall see what happens with this one. Unfortunately, its mother doesn't have the best rate of being able to successfully raise her cubs into adulthood. It could be for quite a number of reasons, but we are really hoping that this one does, because look at it, it's just so cute. Sorry, I don't know if maybe Herbie was calling me on the radio. No, was not. That's a proper bath. I think because they are both so full and happy. Kobe, you say that it looks like they have such a strong bond. I agree with you. There's always a very strong bond between mother and cubs, especially when they're this young, because the cub is pretty much solely dependent on its mother. Now, as the cub starts becoming older, then that bond is slowly going to start to wane, and they will start doing their own thing and spending time apart. But I think for now we can still enjoy that bond. We can just see that white tail. Tyler, you're 8 years old and you'd like to know how big can a leopard get. Well, they can get up to a big male, maybe around 80-90 kilograms. So quite a big creature it can be. Now there's a little cub. Beautiful.
Only thing where it's there, but some of the time start breaking May. We think that it's too more of a look. What's up, Ali? Believe that's December.
Beautiful. Where are you guys going? I wonder, and it's funny enough, they've been in the area where we first started looking for lions, pretty much in a straight line, I would say 100 meters away from where we dropped Herbie off. And how's that? We would have never ever figured out that she was here. Alright, where are you? Are you just going to stand there now? I want to wait for a second, see where they decide to move before we start moving around cars, because I think she's just gone pretty static for now. So we'll see if maybe we can have a bit of a different view. Let's... see. Let me see if maybe we can. Let's have a look. Are you happy now, Rex? Alright, it was quite funny because the first thing that Rex said to me this morning when he said that he had gotten mobile, he was like, oh, I really want to see a leopard today. So yes, we've all managed to see a leopard today. Oh, little one right in front of us. Now there's Shadow over there. So I'm not gonna drive a little bit further. I just want to see where they start going and where they start moving around, because perhaps she's just going to sit down. She seems to have a bit of a limp when she's walking. I don't think it's anything too serious, perhaps just a hazard of hunting. So, like I said, it doesn't seem to be anything too serious, just perhaps normal things that would happen while they go out and hunting, and I'm pretty sure she will recover from it. And the good thing is that despite that limp, she's got a very full belly, which will allow her even a better chance of coming back into health very quickly. Now that's the little headless cub. That is beautiful. Off we go, going on to your mother, are we? Alright, I need to figure out which way we're gonna go, and have another look of them. I think maybe just going straight in here might not be the best thing, because there's a very big log there, and I've already done brakes once. So let's not brake the car just yet. Let's pace ourselves. Oh, you are going that way. Alright, well, if she keeps going that way, we'll be very happy because she's going into a bit more of an open area. And again, roughly in the direction of that wonderful new road full of termite mounds. So, that might be a good thing. Alright. Cannot really see her from here, but I think Rex has got a view, because she has carried on walking in that general direction, going to that big tree out in the distance. So let's try to find a way through these thickets, hopefully with brakes. Alright guys, I believe it's even a bit too thick sometimes for us in this tiny short wheel-based cars. Ginger, you're wondering why we call them cubs and not kittens. Well, likely because they are a lot bigger and in a different family from the small cats. Alright, this is going to be an interesting one. Sorry, I just want to try and get around here as quickly as possible. And it gets a bit thick around this area, but at least she's moving what looks to be into the open. Come, Wendy, we can do this again, you and I. Gets nice and open here. I'm very happy about this. Alright, they are ahead of us, so there's still visual of them, but I'm just gonna have to hang on a few moments there, and I'm sure we're gonna be able to have a nice view of them, as they are underneath a quarry bush by the looks of it. They're in the drainage here somewhere. Oh, I think I see a head. So you see the cub's head all the way in there in the drainage line. And I'm sure Shadow is somewhere around here. So imagine just how hard it would be on a normal basis just to come down here and try to spot them. There are rocks everywhere. The ground is really hard, and when they come into areas like this, they just complicate the tracking a lot more. There you go. There she's moving. And I'm sure Shadow is somewhere in there. Can't really see her from here. Oh my. I think they're still walking in there. Just see a few spots moving in between those very thick bushes. But they're coming up into the open. So let's just be patient for a few moments, and I'm sure they're gonna come out just around this area. I saw a tail, or the white of a tail. They are pretty much just ahead of us, so I'm just waiting for them because it seemed like they wanted to carry on walking like this. So I want to see if perhaps they do. Oh, I see them now in the distance. Okay, they've carried on like this. So let's go and have a look. Who needs coffee when you've got so much adrenaline? Yes, Megs, I copy you now. I was in a drainage line. Yeah, it seems like Shadow likes dragging me through areas where I can't hear FC. I imagine she was somewhere here, but I can't see her. Perhaps Rex has got a view of them. Let me carry on going. Whoop. On top of the log. Yes, go on top of the log. Almost there. Almost there. My God. Alright, there she is, and I'm sure the cub is going to do the same as Mom. And jump on top of the log. Now, do you see this log? There she is. So nice of you to stick your head out of those branches. Oh, you're looking wonderful. So beautiful. And look at that belly. Somebody's been eating a lot. Alright. Let me just move a little bit more. See if maybe we get a view of the cub. There's a cub that's gonna come onto the log. I think this is the best we're gonna be able to do for now, because we won't be able to get them from the other side. So we can patiently wait, because I'm sure they're gonna carry on moving. But the little cub is completely splayed on top of the on top of the log. Alright. Now that Rex has finished moving, let's go around us too. There's a bit more space, and hopefully we'll be able to see them come, Wendy. I don't want to... This is a dreamlike setting. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. Ryan, you're wondering how many cubs do leopards produce in a lifetime? I'd say maybe about 6 or 7 litters perhaps from the time that they start becoming... well, they can produce a lot more. It also depends on their success rate, because normally they would only have a 2-year, 3-year interval throughout their lifetime, and they'll start breeding around about 4 years old. roughly, if they are a bit late, sometimes a bit earlier on in life. No, don't go. Come back. Alright, let me go back onto the road because it seems like that's where they're heading. Maybe we'll be able to. Oh, there you are. But Mama Shadow is walking on the road. So I'm sure this little one will start walking in the next few moments or so. So I'm gonna start following them as the little cub starts moving around. You are a very pretty little one. Oh, and I see Shadow from the distance. Sorry guys, we won't be able to have a look of Shadow from here, but she's scent marking. So definitely someone has started claiming this part of Djuma as her own territory. Now I wonder, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this little one grow. Hopefully she will make it into adulthood, and perhaps Shadow will give her a part of her territory, which happens often between female leopards, that their daughters will inherit a portion of their territory. So maybe it's just making this little one get to know this area. And I cannot get over how fat that little tummy is looking. She's looking so well fed. Look at that, very happy. Aren't you a big leopard? Shame. She's so small that she actually had to jump on there to try and have a view of Shadow and find out where she had gone off to. And now she can see her. Look at that tail. I'm sure she's planning something naughty. Oh, learning how to scent mark already. Are you going to attack the quarry? I don't know what it is about quarries, but leopard cubs seem to love them. They always end up like tackling them and attacking them, and it is quite sweet to watch. But I think she's now stalking her mother. Just hiding in there. Thankfully all we can see is her white little tail, and there's Shadow. And she's been busy scent marking all around. Justin, you're wondering if a leopard's tail has a mind of its own. Well, it certainly seems like it. Let me just move, guys, so that we can have a better view. Can I go back, or is there something behind me? But it's always a good indication of what a leopard is actually thinking. Because if they're starting to stalk, or if they're thinking about what to do next, you see that their tail starts moving around like that. And it is very funny to see that happen. Now, where did she go? Couldn't have gone far. Alright, sorry guys, it is a long process turning around with Wendy, but there they both go. I thought maybe Shadow had already walked past us. Now that you have finished your kill, off you go. You have gone somewhere else, brought your cub into a new area, and I wonder if perhaps she actually made a kill that day that we last saw her, because that was just a few days ago. And you see she seems to have a bit of a limp as she's walking. Standing by. Okay, copy. I'm by the brown ivory now. So that was Herbie. He's still looking for those lion tracks. So he's going to keep us posted as to what happens. And I think we're quite lucky and enjoying, oh my goodness, mother and cub walking together. Like I said, it doesn't seem like Shadow has got anything. It seems to be her back right leg, but I wouldn't be worried. I'm sure it was part of the hunting experience, but she is fine now. Beautiful. Shadow's very erratic in her movements. She seems to go north and then she'll come back down and then again. The cub is gonna come in front of us now. And there we go. Following your mother's footsteps. Oh, maybe she got a bit too far away. Gorgeous. Just wonderful. Alright, let me get out of here and go around to see if maybe we can have another look of the little one. There is one other vehicle that wanted to come and see, so when they do come, we're going to make space for them because Shadow and the cub are not too far from the boundary. Alright, I'm going to try and find a new view of them, but while I do that, let's go over to Taylor, who's bumbling about.
My goodness, it feels like I haven't seen you all for such a long time, but I'm back, and what great news and what a great way to start the morning off by spending some time with Shadow and her cub. We were actually trying to track some leopards of our own. We were on Chitwa and we had very fresh male leopard tracks, and apparently Hosanna had walked through Chitwa last night, so I suspect it was him. We then found lots of hyena tracks. We heard squirrels alarming and francolins alarming in the Mulwanini, but we couldn't see anything. And then we found more hyena tracks and quite a bit of blood on the ground. There was a blood trail. So I don't know if it's because they may have killed, the hyenas may have killed a scrub hare or something small like that and were carrying it around. The blood was dropping, or if it was because, oh, hang on. No, don't go off into the road. There's a bird just to the left. Who have we got here? Hello, a red crested korhaan. Ah, very nice. So as I was saying, or it could have been one of the hyenas were injured and they were maybe dripping a bit of blood. Hey, that's beautiful. I haven't seen them for a while. They've been calling quite a bit over the last couple of days. We've actually been hearing them in the distance, but I haven't been able to have found one until now. Very, very cool. And then a little emerald spotted wood dove also just walking about on the road, doing what doves do best, not being able to walk in a straight line. Two very, very pretty birds. I think that's what we're going to have to resort to doing now this morning, is actually a little bit of birding, because we haven't had much luck with anything else. I tried to follow up on my elephant tracks from yesterday, but they went into Chitwa and then they went further west. There's a crested barber just sitting at the top, just up there at the tip of that dead marula tree, singing its beautiful tune. It actually looks quite mottled in colour. It doesn't look like the prettiest crested barbet that we've seen. Perhaps it hasn't had its morning preen just yet. Oh, hang on, the korhaan is calling again. Did you hear that? Craig, if you stay like that, I'm going to put my foot on the clutch and see if I can roll forward just slightly. Come on. We're going so slowly. But we'll just keep edging forward like this. We could not be going any slower. I think a tortoise could probably go quicker than the speed at which we're moving at the moment. But I don't want to start the car, because otherwise we're going to scare the birds away. To see if it's going to call again for us. Did you hear that, Craig? It sounded like a hippo, right? Except coming from Buffelshoek Hook. And I don't know what... That was bizarre. That was strange. We just heard a hippo going... But I don't know what dams are nearby, and Buffelshoek Hook quite close to where we are. No, Buffelshoek Hook Dam is that side, but the sound wasn't coming from there. It was coming from here. Okay, let's go forward. We're not moving anymore. Let's see if we can get a closer view. get a bit of momentum. Oh, no, I'm just going to run off. Okay. This is interesting. Let's see who is walking across the road over here. Lots of antelope tracks, lots of impala, kudu tracks moving up and down. Just running through the grass. Not hiding behind the tree. Oh no, it's come out from underneath the tree. They're very pretty birds. They've got such striking coloration. And they can very easily get confused with the black-bellied bustard. But as you look at it, I'm going to open a picture on my phone just to show you how different they actually are. Let's go to B for bustard. So one thing that always helps me is that with the red-crested korhaan, you see they almost have that grey sort of patch on the top of their heads, whereas the others don't have that. Let me see if I get a good photo here. And then of course with the males, with the bustards, they've got the black stripe going down their throat. I'll cross to the next one. There we go. You can see that a bit better, which of course the red-crested korhaans lack. And of course they're much smaller in size compared to the bustard too. But this is the male. Very cool. Right, let's carry on. Let's see what else we can find. We should actually start hearing the champagne popping noise that the black-belly bustards make too. I haven't heard it just yet this year, but coming now into the winter months. What are we in now? July? Yeah, around August, September, October, we should start to hear them calling quite nicely again. It's another thing we've got to look forward to. When I was talking about this the other day, is finding all the nests and watching a lot of mating behavior from the various species of birds. It'll be quite nice again. And James, I have to agree with your statement. You said that come the breeding season of the bustards and the korhaans, they're everywhere and they completely disappear. They should be called ghosts of the bush, not the grey-headed bush shrike, because like you rightfully say, just completely vanish. We haven't seen them for months now. And like you said, at one point you know, we wouldn't stop and look at them anymore. They were just as common as doves. It is amazing how that happens, but we will start to hear a lot of the birds calling again. Like we're saying, they normally start to breed now in the winter months, and then when they lay their eggs and start building their nests, we've still got a little bit of a way to go, but we can start checking our old spots, because some birds use their nests over and over again. So especially the trees that have lots of holes in them, those natural cavities, the ones that are created, we'll start checking them. There's a big marula tree near Wildebeest Dam where we've seen crested barbets before. They're nesting up in there. There's lots of spots where we know where the hornbills like to, the yellow-billed and red-billed hornbills like to utilize also cavities in the tree, so we'll check those old spots. I still have, actually let's look, I want to see what my map looks like from all the bird nests. Let me just wipe my phone so my screen is clear. Let me quickly go into my maps and let's have a look at all the little red dots that I've got everywhere. Look at that. Let's see if that, just briefly you can have a look. So all those red dots that you can see, those are all nests, nest sites of various birds that we saw last year. So I'll have to go through them all because I can't remember which one was which. But how great is that? So we've got somewhere to start. We've definitely got a place that we can go and check. Maybe our magpie shrikes will return to the same area of Hyena Road. Maybe they'll have a successful chance at raising some of their chicks this year. I quite enjoyed watching them. It was a pity we didn't get to see them for longer. So we're on our way towards Buffels Hook Dam now. We're still a fair way out. I don't know what we're going to find there. I'm sure maybe there'll be one hippopotamus. We'll see maybe some more birds. Who knows? A surprise leopard. Tingana's due to come back as well. We haven't seen any sign of him. He should be around. So we need to keep an eye out for him, and he does like this area too. He tends to have a little break up in this eastern corner. Ah, impala. Hello, impala. Sorry, it's not the most graceful stop. I apologize for that. A little bit jumpy this morning. all just busy with their day, grazing, trying to stay alive. And there's also lots and lots of spider webs. Look at all those spider webs on the left-hand side of your screen. Those are all tropical tent web spiders too, that are living in there. Very easy sort of web to spot, and with quite a heavy base. Looks like a tent, really. Those safety nets that the trapeze artists often have underneath them, so that they don't fall to their death. They bounce back up. That's what it reminds me of. But a whole network of them around there. Impala, you're still looking lovely and healthy, and impala aren't necessarily affected by the drought. We very, very rarely see sick impala, or just ones that aren't in good condition. Occasionally they get mange, but of course we were chatting about that when we saw the jackal the other day. That is normal to see mange coming about in winter when their immune systems aren't as great as what they are, just because they're purely not getting enough sustenance from a lot of this vegetation. But the impala are able to eat a little bit of everything. It's nice. They can move completely over to leaves and just browse through the winter months. But they haven't started that just yet. Well, not these impala. They still seem to be quite happy with the quality of the grass. A little bit fluffed up this morning, which I'm surprised by, but it's not that cold. There's no wind at all. When you stop, it's actually quite pleasant. Megan, what's the temperature now? Is it increased from 62 now? 62 and 17, so it's temperature's rising slowly. The cloud layer is still quite thick, so as soon as the sun makes a break for it, and I think we're going to be in for another hot day today, which will be nice. Right, let's continue towards the dam. Let's go see what we can find. Let's see if there's any other birds around here. Lots of yellow-billed and red-billed hornbills out this morning. I haven't actually stopped for any of them, so I suppose I better pay those birds a bit of attention too. I was neglecting them yesterday. Okay, so I'm going to keep bumbling about till we get to Buffelshoek Dam. And I'm going to send you back across to Ali. It sounds like she's left Shadow. Let's go and find out what happened.
Yes, well, we did have to leave Shadow. Like we said, we tried to keep it to a 2-vehicle sighting for the time being, because the cub is still somewhat young and we don't want it to get nervous around the car. So she was slowly and steadily heading south, so it seems like maybe she's going to cross her boundary sometime soon. So I just wanted to make space for somebody else also to come and see the little cub. I think we had just a fantastic sighting from start to finish, as finding her together and then her moving off, and then just seeing that very round, super chubby tummy and knowing that they're both alright. The guys are going to let me know if she doesn't cross, and if there's space, maybe we can try and going back to her a little later on, which would be quite amazing. But if not, then I think we had a wonderful find for the morning, and also just very heart-warming to know that they're both doing fine. And whatever it is that they were eating was definitely something big, because even Shadow's stomach looks pretty much like this. Now, Herbie's carried on tracking the lions, and I've gotten back to our original plan before we got deviated by the beautiful mother and cub. And I'm just checking to see if perhaps there are any lion tracks crossing our southern boundary. Well, not really southern boundary anymore, but western boundary. See if they carried on and moved somewhere else. I haven't found any just yet, and I know that Herbie is on the track still in the bushes, so he'll let me know if there's anything around there. I am starting to worry, because roughly the direction of the tracks that Herbie was following, the ones that we saw earlier this morning, were going into that same other spot where Rexon had the tracks earlier on, that go pretty much then all the way up to the Manuleti, or well, not the Manuleti, Buffelshoek. But we're gonna carry on searching. Why not? Maybe we'll bump into something fantastic along the way. I definitely did not expect to see a leopard this morning. It would have been really nice if we had Shadow and the little cub walking in that mist, but I'm not complaining. I think we had a wonderful sighting. Now I need to pay attention to the road and find out what's happening. I just want to... Alright, seems like the guys are still looking for the little creatures out and about. And maybe we shall be able to see. I think my radio's gone a bit mad. Alright, no lion tracks around here. So this is a good sign. I think Herbie is trying to get a hold of me. Standing by, Herbie. Okay. One second. I'm not too sure what's going on the radio, but I think Herbie was just trying to get a hold of Rexon and find out a bit more as to where he had the tracks for that male lion this morning. So he wasn't actually calling me, he was calling somebody else. So I'm going to carry on checking here like we had planned before. It does get a bit complicated sometimes with the radios and the power lines, and you can see them pretty much ahead of us. That very big stick in the distance, that's one of the poles for the power line, and they interfere sometimes with our reference. But seems like Taylor has managed to find a very happy hippo, so let's go over to her all the way on Buffelshoek Dam.
We haven't just found one hippopotamus this morning. It seems as though the bull, which is the one we were just looking at, has found a friend. And there she is over there. It looks like a female. She's much smaller in size, though I suppose it could also be a young male. But I think that he is very happy to have whoever this is with him, because we've seen him for the last couple of days and he's always looked particularly. Or are there more? Just keeping an eye out to see if I can see any more bulls reaching the surface, but it doesn't look like it. Now, they're not going to be doing very much at all now. This is the typical hippo sighting that you do have. Actually quite nice, because you can see their eyes, ears and nostrils all in one, instead of just occasionally their nostrils or their ears flicking about the water. But they've had a very, very busy night. They've been out, they've been feeding, they've now come back to the water, and you can see that it looks like that hippo's eyes are starting to get quite heavy and is going to rest for the rest of the day. Now, Catherine, a question from you, and that is, how far will a hippo travel from water? You know, it's got to do a lot with the area as well, so and depending on the season. In summer, when we have our rainfall and there is lots of grass around, a hippo doesn't need to go particularly far. Especially here at Buffelshoek Dam, there's quite a few areas that supply some nice grazing. However, now as the grass starts to dry out, the hippos have to move further and further away too. So they can move up to about 8 kilometers away from watering holes, sometimes even further. And it's quite sad. We would see it now the past couple of years where we had this horrific drought, and you would see hippos still walking around during the day, desperately looking for something to eat. And it isn't uncommon to see hippos out of the water during the day. In this area it's not as common, but you go down to Zambia, you go to Botswana, even in Zimbabwe, where they've got massive river systems, and you'll often see the hippos just outside next to the water grazing during the middle of the day. And so it depends. Now I think they're going to have to start traveling further distances. I'll give you an example. We often see hippo tracks coming in from Chitwa and crossing into Djuma. And we'll see hippo tracks all around Central. We'll see them up and down on Drakensberg Road, Cheetah Cut Line, all these different places, even right up and back towards Gallagher side. So doesn't that just show you? Now, we don't see a lot of hippos in all the dams. Typically at the moment there's just hippo in Buffelshoek Dam, and the rest of the hippos that we're seeing are around Chitwa. There might be some in Red Dam and Arathusa and the various other dams scattered around here. So that just shows you how quickly and how far they can move. Right, Addie's got a hyena out in the open. Let's go take a look.
I know, it seems like they have crossed very quickly now onto the bushes, but I'm gonna see if maybe we can have a look, because they were so steadily walking on the road, and then of course maybe they heard that the camera was gonna be pointed at them and they became a little bit shy. No, don't move. Alright, I'm seeing if maybe we can, yeah, they're here. Alright, there we go. two of them walking around. Wonder where you guys have been this evening. Hyenas have been walking into pretty late in the morning in the last few occasions that we've spotted them. And it seems like this ones were coming from closer to the gate. Now, moving around here, and then the other one's a bit further ahead, but I don't think we have a view of them anymore. So they've carried on going into the thick bush. Oh no, I see it now, but it's going away. Alright, let's see if maybe we can have another view of them.